She was the only minority on Mount Pleasant Town Council, but after 17 years, Thomasena Stokes-Marshall retired in November. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. Thomasena,
Yes.
it is so good to see you again.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. I thank you. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome.
The last time we spoke was in February for Quintin's Close-Ups.
That's correct.
And you know, we were just talking about you getting ready to retire from Mount Pleasant Town Council. And here it is. We just talked a few minutes about it. And you said today marks really a month since you left Town Council. And I'm wondering, where are you emotionally about that?
I have to admit that I do miss it. I have been involved with council for the past 17 years. I got involved with council even before I got elected.
That's right.
Because I had a need to know who the decision makers were, how did they go about making decisions for the town of Mount Pleasant that would ultimately affect my life, my family, and my community. And that was what motivated me to get involved. And I have to say, even though I'm off of council now and I'm not as engaged as I was before, that curiosity and desire to want to know is still there. All right. And you know, as I prepared for my exit, and people asked me, you know, what am I going to do?
Right.
I mean, I'm still involved in my community. Okay, I still serve on a number of different boards, nonprofit boards, and so that keeps me involved and exposed to the needs and issues and concern. And also, if I find that there is a matter, an issue of concern that I need to address the mayor and council, you know, I have no problem in doing that. And all of it has always been in the best interest of improving people's lives in general, you know, doing what's best and right for mankind.
And then you just talked about the mayor and council. As you know, there are a lot of issues going on here in the town of Mount Pleasant. So describe to me the following one word: Highway 41 widening.
Okay, that is a big problem because we have a number of communities, subdivisions along Highway 41, and all of the traffic from those subdivisions feed onto Highway 41. In addition to the Highway 41 and the traffic that comes from Mount Pleasant residents, we also have Charleston County, which is in the Cane-Hoy area.
Oh, yeah.
And there have been projects that has, very large projects, that has been approved by Charleston County that will be coming on board within the next 5-10 years. And all of the traffic from those projects will also feed onto Highway 41. I feel that one of the oversights by both the town of Mount Pleasant and Charleston County and maybe even COG, the Council of Government, is that as opposed to looking at the cumulative impact and effect of the development of along Highway 41, as well as the development that was approved by Charleston County in the Cane-Hoy area, and looking at how that accumulative impact would impact, and then making the decisions collectively as opposed to individual municipalities making those decisions. And I have to say that I've always, you know, when I moved back home, it was kind of strange to find that we have so many different municipalities and each one has its own independent governmental structure, own fire department, police department, you know, whereas I always feel that when you bring communities and municipalities together where they collaborate, then you have the potential to maximize the delivery of services to the citizens and residents that we serve at the minimum cost. But throughout the years, I've learned that that's not the way it works here in the Low Country in South Carolina. So as a result of it, you have the various municipalities that's vying for the biggest portion of the pie, but it's for their town or their community. And so therefore, I see that as being an oversight on the part of Mount Pleasant in our decision-making process, as well as Charleston County and COG.
And when you think of Shem Creek, what comes to mind? Because there's a big fight over that right now to really save Shem Creek.
When I hear the term save Shem Creek, I have yet for someone to be able to explain to me exactly what is meant by that phrase. I know that the town of Mount Pleasant has expanded significant revenues to purchase land to improve the Shem Creek area. We have the Shem Creek Park, Phase 1, which I think our residents are very proud of, and it's well used. We have already started Phase 2, and we attempt to improve and preserve that area and work with the businesses. That's one of the main attractions here in the town of Mount Pleasant. So the town and the leaders, council members, were very much aware of that. So therefore, that's why the decisions were made to purchase the property and improve the areas there. And now when we talk about saving Shem Creek, I know that there are some people who are opposed to some of the height that was proposed by some of the developers. And I can understand that. When I look at the language in our comprehensive land use plan, one of the things that it addresses is as development occurs, that council work and make decisions that will serve to preserve existing characteristics of the various communities. All right. And one of the things, I think, when the Coleman Boulevard revitalization project was approved, and council made a conscious decision, the boulevard, the tall buildings, I think that really opened a lot of people's eyes, because of course they're the tallest buildings along Coleman Boulevard, and it's out of character for the rest of the community that's there. So if nothing else, it made people start paying attention, and as a result of that, and there were some other projects also that there were opposition to. At the same time, in all fairness, I have to say, as far as the Shem Creek, the Coleman Boulevard revitalization project was concerned, that did not develop overnight. The Coleman Boulevard project's probably 8-9 years in the makings, and there were concerted efforts that was put out by the town of Mount Pleasant, the elected officials, and our staff, where we reached out throughout the years and tried to bring in all of the stakeholders, property owners, business owners, residents, who had the opportunity to come to the table and sit down, listen to what was being proposed. If they were in agreement or disagree, there was the opportunity for them to make it known, and we were open-minded to work to try to make changes and adjustment to satisfy as many people as we could. At the same time, I have to say, throughout my lifetime, I've learned from experience that no matter what you do in your efforts to help and address the needs of people, you can satisfy some of the people some of the time, but you will never satisfy all the time.